Okay, so the last few videos on this have kind of sucked. They've been kind of boring. They've not been very informative. So what I'm going to be doing for this video is actually just going through each recording strategy video that I've done and just actually talk over it and perhaps pause it and contextualize things. That way you actually get more information. Yeah, let's go through all of the ways to beat Joey through a speedrun in like 3 or 4 turns. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it's better than the previous ones that kind of sucked. Alright, so let's go through that same strat again, right? So we've got basically Dimensionhole plus Skullbird. I guess any winged beast or anything strong on mountain actually works as long as it does 4k attack across 3 attacks. But the important thing is, against a lot of duelists in this specific situation, if you have a card, any card, again, face down, you can see, it doesn't matter if it's dimensional or whatever, you have this exactly 3 tiles ahead of their deck leader, they will now actually play to the right instead of playing forward. So this means they're just kind of playing out of the way, and this card is basically out of play now. Now it's possible that it's like it can attack you. He'll move this forward now. And now it's back to you. So obviously what you do is you flip up your dimensional. Now you notice I flip it up on that tile. Because I don't want to... If I move forward, then it's actually possible that his card will attack me. If that's a Beast Warrior, he will flip up and attack me if I'm 2 spaces away. So now I play the Crow Goblin. Again, this would be a Skullbird because Patrician of Darkness actually starts with a Skullbird. So, in this situation, imagine I have Dimensional Skullbird is basically exactly the same thing. I attack him there directly, he'll move to the left, and then he'll play something. And it is possible for him to actually play a trap card in front of him and defend with that. However, you still attack him with this Skullbird anyway, and then if that trap triggers, you now are in a position to play something else that's strong on Wasteland and attack him directly because you'll have no card blocking you. And that is how you beat Joey in 3 turns, the fastest way. Now, we can actually do a very similar strategy even without Skullbird. We will lose a turn by doing this, it'll become a 4 turn, but it's still actually incredibly fast. Like, this is actually faster than other 3 turns on him can be. So what you do, in the case that you have like a Skullbird, but you have like nothing else, is you just play anything face down in the middle, and you'll notice that he will play to the right again. Now, you can play top left if it's a spell, but if he has a monster, he'll play it to the right and then move it forward. And then I move forward and I pass. Now again, I already know that I have Skullbird in this situation. If you don't, you might want to check your hand and get rid of anything that you possibly can. But now he'll move this card forward, and now I am going to move forward over the normal spot. And as you notice, I now can play the Skullbird in front of me and just attack him directly. So I've lost a turn, but you notice my previous turn was quite fast. And the only time you really lose is the enemy AI having an extra turn, but their turns don't last forever, especially early on. Now again, it's possible that his face down attacks me, and I lose a bit of time if that is the case, but I don't really have any option but to take a hit from that guy. And then he has just played a monster. So there's 2 things that can happen here. Either that's a monster that attacks us, and then we need to attack him on Wasteland, or it doesn't attack us, and then we can attack him again. The only other thing, actually the third thing can happen, if he attacks us with something with a dark card, like if he makes Red Eyes Black Dragon and he can kill us, or Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, he can kill us. But at that point, you're pretty much screwed and you're not going to have a 4 turn, so you got to kind of just play freely after that. Now, actually, most 80% runs, you don't even have Skullbird or anything. But basically what you want to get instead is a 3-turn kill by going on the Wasteland, because you're most likely to draw things that are strong on Wasteland, like all your zombies. So you move forward, and then if you notice that you have stuff that's strong on Wasteland, then what you actually want to do is... First of all, we've got Dimensional here, so we're going to leapfrog forward into the normal spot. Now we're playing this so he plays to the right, otherwise if we played Dimensionhole top right, he would actually play in front of him, then we have to deal with that card. So we're going to do the normal Dimensionhole, and then what we do is we activate this forward, because then we're going to move to the right, okay? And that way what we can actually do is play a monster on the Wasteland, that's strong on the Wasteland, and then attack him. I check here for Skullbird, because I'm recording for footage, but then I see I have something strong on Wasteland. So I put in as much attack points as I can. Now again, you only need 2 hits, like, across 2k. If you can't do that, then you want to have this monster do 2 hits, and then you want to attack him a 3rd time for lethal. Now, in this case, I have a leader ability that I shouldn't have. You wouldn't have this in a speedrun. But remember that zombies are weak on Mountain, so if you attack him with something like Dragon Zombie with an equip, you're only doing 1600. So in that case, I can attack him again for lethal there. But another thing that I can do is... So again, here I'm indicating that you can activate like, if you needed more damage here on your second attack and you suddenly drew into a terrain card, you could activate this here. And then, so Dragon Zombie, instead of being minus 500 when attacking him, it would actually be plus 500, so it'd be 1,000 attack swing. What you're really looking for here is damage. Now, what I can do is attack him again with that Dragon Zombie. If it has 2k attack or higher, it attack for 2,400 on the mountain. But of course, if I didn't have my deck leader, it would only do 1,900. So if I attack him directly with Dragon Zombie, do 1,900. Then this third turn, I attack him again, do 1,900. Then he has 200 life points. So then all I would need to do is attack him again with a Dragon Zombie. In this case, obviously, that's the kill. It's not really that easy to get 2k attack onto the mountain, but one way you can do it that's very common is actually Great Mammoth with an equip. Great Mammoth with any equip will be 2k or higher on mountain. Now, you can do other strategies on Wasteland. Basically, by going up Wasteland, you force him to move forward. That'll close the gap between you and his deck leader easier for you to connect an attack. So, if we open without Dimensional and we have stuff on strong on Wasteland, this is like a very, very common strategy you'll see. We're going to play basically the highest attack thing we can possibly play on Wasteland. And then we're just going to launch it at him. And so, you notice that we will flip it up and put it forward 2 spaces, and he'll play to the right, because he doesn't actually want to play anything in front of him, or to the left of him, or because that's in the attacking range of this monster. So play a card to the right. He can block you, play top left, but again, that's just, you have to kind of take the L, it's not going to be fast. But then we move this zombie again 2 spaces forward, and because he's a red rose duelist, instead of moving to the right, he actually moves forward when you threaten him from his left. Now, at this point, you wouldn't have Solomon's Lawbook, obviously. The reason I'm demonstrating this is I have this in the deck is to just make my draws easier, otherwise I'd have to record like 50 times to get the strats that I want. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that my draw is whatever it was after my Solomon's Lawbook, and just ignore the fact that I played Solomon's Lawbook. So now we have a terrain card. So we can play a terrain card. We activate it here, and now he will move forward, and then he will be on the Wasteland tile. Now, he will still be within attacking range of our Skelgon, but also, what he'll do is play a monster. He'll play something on his right side. Usually plays a monster to his top right. He can also play it to his bottom right. But you notice, now there's nothing in the way. We just attack him directly with the zombie. And as long as this zombie plus the first card we played does 4k attack on our Yami or our Wasteland, depending on what card you have, we will OTK him on the third turn with this strategy. Now, this is really uncommon, but I think it's worth teaching, because if you don't draw anything strong on Wasteland, but you have cards that are strong on Forest, you can actually play this strategy. Now, I wouldn't really recommend going for this if you have drawn into other strategies, but if you have literally nothing else, but a card that's strong on Forest, you should probably try this. I would recommend trying this. So, we're going to launch a card on Forest instead. Now, we're kind of doing the same thing we did in the previous strat, except instead of him moving forward, he'll actually move to the left. And the only real, benefit to this is he will actually move on to the Wasteland, which our cards are strong on Wasteland. So, what I do here is I play a low attack card, and I move it onto this tile specifically. You can see where it's highlighted, the Bone Mouse. Now, what this is actually intended to do is to bait his first card he played to move out of the way to the left, because he will try to kill this monster. So instead of moving it forward and to the left to kill Bone Mouse, move it left and then try to attack it. So let's finish this move and pass and see what he does. So at this point, if he plays top left, this will not work, because then he will move the card that's in front of him forward a space, and we still can't play a card on Wasteland. But if he plays to the left, then when he moves the card forward, if he can beat our card, see now he's positioned his card out of the way. So at this point, you already see our Nekagel that we started with is actually 2 spaces away from him on the Forest, so that can attack him for 1900. So now on our next turn, we just need to move forward and play a card top right onto the Wasteland and attack him for 2100, and that's lethal. So now we get 2 attacks on him on the third turn. Now, it's really not that reliable. I don't think you should be trying to go for this if you have other options, but if this is your only option, you should play this, because it is possible to get a 3-turn on him, as long as you have the damage for it. And if for example, you have, some really crap cards for Forest, you only have, a Bug, You can still attack him twice with something like a Great Mammoth and get a 4-turn out of it if you really want. Now, just for a quick reference, I'm basically going to do the same thing on... this is just the same thing I'm trying, but on a different draw. And then you see here, he plays top left, which you don't have control over this, so there's no point in, like, getting mad about it. And then he actually defends there because his card is actually weaker than my Bone Mouse, which this Bone Mouse should be 900 anyway. But that card, if it was strong enough to kill Bone Mouse at this point, it actually moved forward. And then the issue there is we just cannot play a card on Wasteland and attack him directly. We can play a card on Wasteland here, but we just could not attack him directly. So that duel is... you just can't really do too much about that. You have to follow up and, like, a backup play at that point. So, yeah. Alright, so that is the new format video. Let me know if this was, like, better or worse than the previous ones. Check out the other stuff, the whole series.